Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we discuss a seldom seen Reverso model launched by Jaeger-LeCoultre back in 2005. That was the era of big reversos, large reversos in dress watch format and larger still in squadra format. This is the uncommon Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grande GMT Automatique. Unusual for its time, being an automatic winding reverso in a dress style. It's stainless steel and fairly large at 29.2 millimeters wide, 12.4 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, 46.6 millimeters. It's approximately the size of the XGT case that debuted on the 70th, the 70th anniversary Reverso, though mechanically this is very distinct from that landmark model. It has 20 millimeter spacings between the lugs, which is a fairly universal strap size and gives you a lot of options, both OEM and aftermarket. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, it wears quite nicely, comfortably, but I do think we're approaching the limit here of what's possible. So if your wrist is my size, the angle doesn't lie, it does fit. But I would say that if your wrist is any smaller than 16 centimeters circumference, seek a smaller Reverso. Now the watch is comfortable, there's no doubt about that, and it's not all that thick for the size of it. You can see in profile it's sort of a rounded, vaulted profile that will slide underneath the cuff. The strap's good looking and necessarily newer than the watch. You can see it uses JLC's latest pull-tab spring bar, and that we've got calfskin, brand new strap on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. On the top, we have large and medium rectangular scale alligator leather, sort of a dark brown, though not the darkest, semi-gloss finish. We have a folded edge, a monotone stitch. It's got a little bit of bolstering or stuffing to give it some volume. And like almost all Reversos, the lugs are drilled very close to the case with a little bit of a recess or a revetment to house the strap so that you can't see any daylight between strap and case for a very integrated look. Now what I find interesting here is that it has a much newer JLC buckle on it. So you have the quick release strap, then you also have the latest quick release buckle where you push right here and it simply pops right off the watch. It's a very clever little system, and you can see how this works. It opens up a gap for the spring bar to enter or exit, depending on how you want to operate it, just like that. It's a very simple system and pretty self-explanatory, but the clasp right here is steel, and the reason I say it's a little bit unusual, this is unexpected, because this clasp was introduced long after the watch came out. This watch would have originally included double fold clasp, but JLC's first generation double fold, not this later one with the convenient quick release. So this is, in many respects, a fortunate occurrence and a significant upgrade. I'll take a look at the remainder of the watch. Reverso cases are always more nuanced than they look online. Online, you could be forgiven for thinking it's just an insipid rectangle, but there are actually quite a few curves, and you can see that we've got these lovely gadroons or strakes that wrap all the way around the case. This is a very traditional Reverso with a blank case back that can be used for customization or simply bewildering your friends. If you want to ask them to guess what it is you're wearing on your wrist, they may not know. But lacquer, enamel, engraving, it all looks great here. And that's a Reverso tradition dating back to the very earliest ones in the early 1930s. The original idea was for a sports watch. If you believe the lore of the Reverso, then you believe that the original watch was created for polo players, and on one side you had a surface that couldn't be damaged by a mallet, and then on the other side you had what would have been a glass crystal at the time. So when you're telling time, you would turn to the primary dial, and then when you're playing polo, you'd flip it over. Is it true? Who knows, but it's a lovely story, and it's resulted in a distinctive watch. Now, other elements include this conical profile with a squared off end. Like I said, this case is pretty nuanced, and you might not believe it, but it's got over 50 parts. It's a 30-meter water-resistant case, which may not sound impressive until you realize that until the 1980s, there was never such a thing as a water-resistant Reverso. So the intricacies of this case design actually are quite a credit to the engineers. This is dress watch water resistant, so rain or maybe you splash your hand while washing, that is still quite impressive by historic Reverso standards. If you ever wondered how it is so sharp and precise in its action, you could see it has those slides internally, but then these spring-loaded ball bearings on the end. The dial features a lot of classical Reverso elements. As you can see, There's a guilloche cut outboard, a VOG or wave cut inboard. Then we've got a double-digit date. JLC gave its original double-digit date to Lunga in the early 90s when Lunga was getting stood up in its modern form. JLC then went back and created a new double-digit date that was patented elements. They actually patented 2 double-digit dates. The Lunga one is the original JLC double date. We also have a little day-night indicator down at the bottom. Historic elements include, of course, that outer guilloche cut, the inner guilloche cut, the broadsword hands in blue, the vertically arrayed black Arabic numerals, the satination that runs from top to bottom on the hour track. And this one's a little bit different because it uses caliber 970, which is part of the auto tractor family, and it includes a second time zone. Now, as you can see, that local hour hand does drive the date forward and backwards. It does not drive the day-night indicator. When I start to move everything, you could see that that secondary time zone actually drives the day-night indicator, which allows me to discern, for example, whether that second time zone is 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. And you can see it's turning dark, so this is 9 p.m. in that time zone where you are not. That little day-night indicator gives me the ability to have 2 hands telling 2 different times and be able to superimpose them because they move at the same speed. They're both 12-hour hands, so I have a clean dial when I don't want to show 2 time zones. Now, what you'll also notice is that this features a hacking seconds function, uncommon on reversos, but this is an auto tractor caliber. So what do I mean by that? Well, the auto tractor was a modern family of JLC movements that debuted in the 2000s based on bad experiences with JLC dress watch movements in 1990s IWC sports watches. So the auto tractor was designed to be tougher. It was automatic winding in most of its forms, and this is a 50-hour power reserve automatic winding, a 4 hertz beat rate, stop seconds, dual time, double-digit date, and it's got a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance, which makes it very tough as a watch, more shock resistant than, say, the old 889s. And it's a 29 joule movement, and it is Master 1000 hours certified. So it has gone through the full 41 plus day fully cased up watch test of chronometry, durability, water resistance, winding efficiency, power reserve. And so you've really got the heart of a sports watch in here, plus the Master 1000 hours certification, the dual time, the AM, PM, the double digit date, and it is physically much more rugged than other reversos because of that 970 caliber inside and the steel case on the outside. So this is very well suited for daily use. And to improve the winding efficiency on the auto tractors, JLC changed from its previous bidirectional winding system to unidirectional for greater efficiency. Empirically, it is more efficient, and also fitted ceramic rotor bearings. Ceramic bearings are lower friction, lower maintenance, but also a little bit louder. And people sometimes ask me about the noise that these make because the ceramic balls have so little lubricant you can hear them against the steel races. So every once in a while you'll hear a little bit of a whiz when you move your wrist and that rotor goes spinning. Totally normal. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.